The hall of the crystalline palace gleamed under the twin suns, reflecting rainbows across the walls and casting a kaleidoscope of light over the alien assembly. The air vibrated with quiet tension as rows of dignitaries, advisors, and elite warriors of the Xytheran Empire observed the human who had dared enter their sovereign territory. I stood at the center of the polished obsidian floor, my arms stiff at my sides, trying to hide the mix of fear and awe curling in my stomach. The room was vast, too vast for a human mind to comprehend comfortably, stretching as if it merged with the sky. At the far end of the hall, atop a dais of floating platforms, stood the Alien Empress herself, tall, regal, and impossibly beautiful in a way that made the air feel heavier. Her scales shimmered with a deep, iridescent violet, and her eyes, sharp and intelligent, seemed to pierce directly through me. "Human," she said, her voice both commanding and melodic, echoing in the hall, "kneel." The word alone carried weight. Kneeling before the Xytheran Empress was not merely a gesture. It was a declaration of submission, acknowledgement of her dominance over life and death in this realm. My mind screamed caution. Every instinct told me this could be a trap. Yet, my heart, strange as it felt, refused to obey. Instead of kneeling, I inhaled deeply and with deliberate clarity stepped closer. "Before I obey your order," I said, voice firm but respectful, "I have a question." A ripple of shock passed through the assembly. The Empress arched a brow, intrigued but not yet amused. "And what question does a human ask a being who commands planets?" she asked, her tone sharp, yet tinged with curiosity. I swallowed, my pulse hammering in my ears. "Will you marry me?" The silence that followed was absolute. Even the distant humming of the palace's energy fields seemed to fade. The advisors froze mid-whisper. Warriors tightened their grips on energy blades. And the Alien Empress, who had never faced a human who dared defy protocol so brazenly, simply stared. For a moment I thought I had miscalculated. Then she laughed. Not a soft laugh, nor a mocking one, but a sound rich with surprise, disbelief, and something else I couldn't quite place. Amusement, maybe, or even a spark of admiration. "You propose to me, in defiance of every rule of this court?" Her eyes glittered, a storm of curiosity and intrigue behind them. "I do," I said, bowing my head slightly, my hands open to show no weapons. "Because I believe in my choice even if it seems foolish to everyone else." Her gaze swept over me, sharp, assessing. For a moment the room seemed to shrink, leaving only the two of us in suspended reality. Then, slowly she descended from her dais, each movement fluid and deliberate, until she stood just a few paces away. Her presence was overpowering. Her aura pressed against my chest like a living force. "Bold?" she whispered. "Or reckless?" I straightened, meeting her gaze without flinching. "Perhaps both," I admitted. The council murmured behind her, but she silenced them with a gesture. "And what if I refuse?" "Then I accept your refusal," I replied, "but I wanted you to hear my answer first." She tilted her head, a smile tugging at her lips, the first real display of emotion I had seen. Slowly she extended one clawed hand, pointing directly at me. "Then rise," she commanded softly, "and speak the words you dared not whisper before the court." I did as she asked, stepping fully into the light, my hands trembling slightly but my voice steady. "I, your human, kneel not out of fear but out of respect. And I ask you, will you be my partner? My ally? My equal?" For several heartbeats, the Empress merely stared. Then, as if something inside her had shifted, she stepped closer. The assembly watched, enthralled, as she knelt, not in submission but in acknowledgement, an unspoken declaration that the human before her had earned something rare. Her attention, her curiosity, her respect. "I accept your proposal," she said finally, her voice lower now, intimate, meant only for me. "But do not mistake this for weakness. You have earned my interest, human. That is all." I exhaled, relief and disbelief flooding me in equal measure. Around us, the hall erupted, whispers, exclamations, astonishment, but for once I didn't care. I had risked everything and she had chosen to answer in kind. The Empress rose, her hand brushing against mine, a gesture more intimate than any formality could allow. Come, she said, a faint smile curling her lips. Let us see if a human can truly survive life beside the Queen of Xythera. I followed, knowing that whatever awaited me beyond those walls, battles, intrigues, dangers beyond imagination, I would face them not as a mere human, but as the one who had dared to answer a command with courage, audacity, and love. Ending lengthy and cinematic. Over the next cycle of moons, our partnership was tested like never before. I trained under her guidance, learning not just alien combat, but the delicate art of understanding a being centuries ahead of human evolution. Her laughter, which had once been sharp and mocking, softened into something familiar, something I began to anticipate with every interaction. We walked through the halls of her palace at twilight, watching the sun set across the alien horizon. The golden light caught the scales on her shoulders and she paused to look at me. Do you understand, human, what you've done? I understand that I've risked everything, I said, meeting her gaze. And I would do it 1,000 times over if it meant standing here with you. A rare warmth spread across her eyes. She extended a hand, and this time not as an empress, not as a ruler, but as someone who wanted connection. I took it, and for the first time the vastness of her world felt like home. Whispers of our story spread across the empire, tales of the human who dared to defy protocol, of the alien empress who accepted a proposal in front of her court, and of the bond forged not through domination, but through courage, respect, and a shared leap of faith. As night fell, she leaned close, her voice a whisper against the hum of alien energy. Human, you've surprised me. But do not think the court will forget. You will have to prove yourself every day. I wouldn't want it any other way, I replied, feeling the weight of destiny lift as I realized I had found not just survival, but partnership and perhaps love. And beneath the twin moons of Xythera, the human and the Empress stood together, a symbol of audacity, courage, and the unpredictable power of choice. The galaxy would remember this moment forever.